All right, we started now. All right, good. Well, I'm a professor. I have notes. That's how it works, right? I give lectures. So the shortest time they give me on campus at the university to talk is about an hour. So this is going to be a very fast talk in 10 minutes, a whole lecture in 10 minutes. No, but you all know the old adage, right? That history is written by the winners. Well, it's true. It is written by the winners, right? And if we want to be the winners, if we Bitcoiners want to win, we need to be the ones to write our own history and not let other people write it. We need a museum. We need our own space for people to come and see our story through our words, through our lens, right? If we want to be, get a little Nietzsche in here for you, if we want to be that Ubermensch, that Oberman that moves to the next world, over the tightrope, over the chasm of mediocrity, and into the next phase of human evolution, right? To actually separate money and state, to actually separate history and state. We need a private museum and space run by Bitcoiners, and that's what the Bitcoin Discovery Center is, right? BDC amplifies BTC. Now, who am I as the Director of Education of the BDC? I'm a historian and Bitcoiner. That's why I typically go by Bitstorian in the space. I'm a professor teaching all sorts of weird things, including Bitcoin, which is a very weird thing to teach. There aren't many classes about Bitcoin, especially in New York, of all places. It's very hard. So I teach weird things with Bitcoin, and I've been doing it for a few years. I teach Bitcoin mining, hash rate heating, walking around campus all the time saying, how do we still have space heaters that don't mine Bitcoin? That doesn't even make sense. What a waste of electricity, especially for everyone on campus saying we need to recycle energy and care about the environment. Oh, well, let's actually do that. Oh, wait a minute. But I digress. But I teach classes also related to Bitcoin, types of classes I want to teach at BDC as well. I teach a religion and AI class. This semester, I'm teaching students how to mathematize religion, which is really fun. We're just taking pieces of the New Testament and mathematizing it and figuring out what we can do. If we can read scripture through a different language, not history, well, we can find different things. We can find hidden messages we haven't found before. And then we can put it into Python, into Rust, and run it in a terminal and see what the hell happens. Classes like that, that's what I do. But I innovate in mining. I'm a little bit obsessed with geometric mining right now. I don't know if anyone else has even thought about it or if it's even feasible. I think it is, but it's based on the idea of energy transfer across dimensions, right? So using the curvature of space, you just take geometry from 5D, convert it to force in 4D, and use that in a vacuum and anyways, radio waves for mining. I created a little simulation, if anyone ever wants to see it, of reversible SHA-256, which is a way to get us there. It basically reduces entropy to zero because it creates reversible logic gates. And anyways, I said I was a professor. I won't get into all that. But my obsession this summer is to run a node on the old ARPANET, if anyone remembers the ARPANET. Yeah, and if anyone does, you're thinking it doesn't exist anymore. So that's a big task. Yeah, I know. But I live in Binghamton, New York, which is the home of IBM. And basically, they just abandoned it. And a lot of the material is still there. You can just break into the building and take it. So, yeah, that's going to be my summer, in addition to working, of course, on the BDC. But now, my role in the BDC and what actually is the Bitcoin Discovery Center. Right? It's a place for, well, dreamers, builders, tinkerers like me and others, anyone who's sovereign-minded and thinks that a world without monopolies of power, with free exchange and sound money, is a more productive world, a better world, and one that we can achieve. In less profound, more in details, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, so all donations are tax deductible, and we're directed by myself as the Director of Education, Tobias Barber, or the Coin Dad, who is the founder and creator of the Bitcoin Mining Museum, which we'll talk more about in a moment, and James Skaggs of ACS. We're in Carrollton. It's the picture you can see wherever your screens are. That's our space, a really large space. Show you some more pictures of it in a minute. Inside of the Bitcoin Discovery Center, we'll have the museum, which is the core of the BDC. We'll have a Bitcoin Research Lab and Education Center, which is what I'm focused on, building Bitcoin training, certificates, mining tech developments. We'll have a Bitcoin Gallery, storefront, event space, and so on. Now, all lasting truths have really good origin stories, right? Like Bitcoin, like religions. And so does this, we think. The origin of the BDC is the Bitcoin Mining Museum. And the BDC is a living institution for an evolving technology. As Tobias always said, the founder of the Bitcoin Mining Museum, that the museum allows people to touch Bitcoin, to physically handle it, to see it. And that's really important for education, in addition to providing a permanent place and access to it. Here's a slide, just a screenshot from the Bitcoin Mining Museum that Tobias built over the years. Just a small sample of the many, many artifacts that are in that museum and that will now be in the Bitcoin Discovery Center soon. We invite you all to come out, especially if you're in Texas, especially if you're coming to events like this. We're not that far away, just over in Carrollton, North Dallas.
BitBlockBoom started because we were outsiders and we needed a place that felt like home. Stockyards were always a place for people who didn't fit in. Let's go take a look at the cow town. Put on your hat. Let's go. Stockyards weren't just a cattle town. It was a place for cattlemen, traders, outlaws, and gamblers, people that were building something new. And that sounded familiar. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid were known to spend time here, and Bonnie and Clyde stayed right here in the Stockyard Hotel. Hotels were great, but they're too normal, and Bitcoin is anything but normal. So we moved BitBlockBoom to a place with some edge and some history. They still run Longhorn Steer down this street every day, just like they did 100 years ago. And BitBlockBoom, well, it's just a few steps away. This is Mule Alley. This is where relationships are made. Bars, restaurants, rodeos, hangouts. Mule Alley is the place to come when the BitBlockBoom day is done. BitBlockBoom was built for people who didn't have a home, and the same thing applies to the Stockyards. Seems like we finally found a home. See you at the Stockyards.
Now the content of the BDC. Like any museum, we'll have a lot of regular exhibits and side exhibits and rotating exhibits, stuff on about the cypherpunks, cryptography, hash rate heating, cooling, Bitcoin and AI, future tech, inventor days. We have inventors of these things come in, new inventors, younger generation come in. The education center will have, as I wrote on there, teaching mining history, Bitcoin studies, innovation. It will have an engineering lab for advanced research and product testing. And what I'm really excited about as well is a lot of collaborations between universities. It's 2026. And as far as I know, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, that there are still no programs in Bitcoin in the United States. Not one university has a program for Bitcoin. You can't major in Bitcoin studies. You can't minor in Bitcoin studies. You can't do a degree in Bitcoin anywhere in the US. And that's crazy in 2026, right? With all the things we've achieved. So we're not going to do all of that, but we're going to collaborate as a space because a lot of universities just don't have the bandwidth to do something like that. So we can run courses there. We're going to collaborate with schools for AP classes. We already have a Bitcoin Student Research Prize, actually, and a researcher in residence, and then all the other stuff that I mentioned before about our event space. So here's a fun AI-generated image of what it will look like. Well, something like that anyways. This is what it actually looks like on the ground. This is our proof of work, the stuff that we're doing. So Yeah, go back. I'll just take a step back, like into a different timeline, like in Back to the Future. This is like the Michael Saylor timeline. Now I'm going into like our real world here timeline. So this is what it looks like. This is the actual just proof of work that we're doing on the inside. These are the cases, right? Just the real nitty gritty stuff you do to build a museum. We're doing it. And whoop. Our door with Bitcoin on it. And behind that door is Bitcoin's history. And I've got about a minute and a half. It's one of the last slides that we'll go through. And I'll speak again, just a little bit of academic-y for my last chance here for a few seconds of doing that. Is that right? Truth is a product of history. Right? Truth doesn't just exist out there. Religion uses it. Bitcoin uses it. Lots of things use it. Like the history is a scientific method that creates truth. Right? And that's why having a museum in a Bitcoin Discovery Center, a space to write our own history, is a space to create the actual truth about Bitcoin. There is no truth about Bitcoin that just exists out there. We invent it, we create it, we construct it, and we should be the ones to do it. There is no past. Past is not real. It does not exist. It never has existed. It never will exist. It's only an abstract concept, right? In the same way that religions grab onto God and bring that abstract thing into reality, like Bitcoin miners grab electricity and bring that into a reality where you can use that abstract to buy an apple, right? That's what history does. That's the historical method, right? It connects the abstract to the real, right? It's a field-specific deployment of the scientific method. That's the most academic-y thing I'll say all day. It just looks for facts. It looks for evidence. It creates facts from that evidence, and then it narrates those facts into a truth. That's what we do at the BDC. That's what we do as historians, right? This is, I don't want to get the whole theology, but it's like Bitcoin miners for me are very much like, again, just thinking philosophically and theologically, like in the New Testament, Jesus, right? What is Jesus in a S19 are very similar in my mind, because they connect, again, the universal with the material and show people in the world, hey, this is what the universal looks like. You can touch it. You can feel it. I'm right here. And here's the meaning. Here's the value. So anyways, that's what we do with history. And museums are blocks in a social time chain. They represent victory, for better or for worse, in the history of museums. Well, a triumph of people, person, state, society, and technology. Right? A proof of individual labor, innovation, verifiable evidence of valid actions, a store of human social networks for independent individual verification. And that's really important. How do we verify, as Bitcoiners, we want to verify, how do we go out there and verify that anything has actually happened in mining? Where do we go and see the old miners? You need a place that you can independently, and bring your kids to independently learn how to verify. And so BDC moves the concept of self-sovereignty, I think, from mempool to confirmed block. And finally, the Randian Atlantis is possible. And if you haven't read Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged as a Bitcoiner, I really hope you do that soon. I didn't want to make a promise here, like promising to buy everyone a drink at a bar. But I feel like I promised to buy everyone a copy of that book if you just want one, because every Bitcoiner should read it. But it's possible. There's a character in it called John Galt. And for John Galt in the world of Atlantis, the only word you never use is give. So we're not asking for giving. We're asking for investing, right? Your electricity powers Bitcoin. Now let it turn Bitcoin into a power, right? Support BDC with BTC. And that's it. Thank you very much. I guess I have a minute and a half, so if there are any questions. Go for it. The hardest question of all. Soon?
Check.
26, 27.
Thank you. We're hoping this year. As I show those pictures, those are we are building it out. We're hoping this year.
Thank you.
But you can get a tour if you want, a private tour. Just let us know. Yeah, all the contact info is on one of those, is on this page. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Awesome. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.